All right, so let's take a look at one way of getting our particle to sort of spawn when we beat essentially the level, or we enter that trigger box. So here I am with what we had before. We created the particle in the last video, and as I enter that trigger box, you can see it plays and then it disappears. All right, as I mentioned before, ideally, and we're going to create a video on how we transfer some of the script canvas components over to the objects themselves. Like here's my particle. But for now, just for the sake of ease, I'm just throwing everything inside my game board. So here in my move board, I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Now we have this trigger here that we can use. So what I'd like to do is essentially, let's minimize this for a second. I'm just going to select my level particle, and inside of my script canvas, I'm just going to right click, and I want to reference that entity. Now, what I'd like to do as we enter, and I could really just, if we wanted to, I can grab these two. There's two ways of doing it. I can highlight both of these, copy them, and just paste them down here. So I have a copy of these two, and I can say, well, or I can run a connection down like this. So with my level particle, which is this guy right here, one way that we can do it is on the visibility here. See how it has this continuous playing? I just turn off this visibility, and then I turn it on when we enter that trigger box. So let's take a look at how to do that. So this is one way of doing it. There are delays and other things within the, so for example here, let me show you that actually as well. So if I go look at my particle editor here, there is a checkbox here that says continuous, and that's this thing looping. So you could see if I have that off, it plays it in one shot. But what's cool about leaving continuous on and using script canvas is I get a little bit more control in script canvas for how long I want this to play. There's also this other thing which has a spawn delay, where if I enter 1 second here, you could see it takes a whole second before it spawns. So there's all these other attributes. Because I want to push, I want to, for my own knowledge too, I want to increase my own knowledge of script canvas. I'm going to try to do as much as I can within the script canvas code. So inside of this, so we have the visibility off, and let's just jump back into script canvas. So we have our trigger here, and I'm going to show you both ways that it'll run if I just, even if I kind of like drag this out and I do like, here, let's do this really quick. So I'm going to get the visibility of this particle. So you can see set visibility. They have it for decals, all this good stuff. Off to the side here, if you go under rendering, they have this particle effect. And I just typed in particle here. So here's the UI particle emitter. Here's rendering particle emitter, which is what we want. So if you scroll down here, you can see there's a set visibility attribute. Or you can drag this out and look for set visibility. So because this level trigger is here, the particle that I want to get, and remember we could click this and then select our level particle, but I like doing the referencing thing. I'm just going to select that level particle as my source. I'm going to connect this. And remember, we checked off the visibility, so if I check this on, as we enter this level trigger, which is this one right here, we're going to set the visibility to true. So now if I hit Control S and I run this, and I go back into here, you can see that it plays that particle. Well, let's say you wanted to, you prefer to do more of a concise, you want to use as least nodes as possible, I should say. Well, you could break this and then just connect this to here, and so you're still sort of doing the same thing. I like this where we break it into individual chunks and then we label it. I think it's a little bit cleaner. You do use more nodes that way, but it's really up to you, your preference. So I'm going to move it here, and you can see it does the exact same thing. But I don't want that particle playing forever, right? So let us go ahead and do a delay, which we learned about before, which essentially with our delay, we want to look for this under time. Let's see if we could find this. What we get is a delay between the next action, which really could just be us turning the visibility off. Or I'm going to do this. Like I said, I kind of like them being succinct. And plus, when we go to copy or break these off, they'll what's it called? What I did right now is I held shift and the up arrow to get them to all line up. Now, but yeah, when we go to break these off or into their own little script canvases on them, it's easier to just copy and paste them. Okay, so back to this. So after 1 second, what I can do is a couple things. I can set the visibility to off again, right? Or I can actually just destroy this game object to take it out of memory. So let's see, destroy component? No, we want to destroy the entity, which I think we have one up here. Yeah, so just to save time, I'm going to Control C and then just Control V, paste that. And the entity I want to destroy is obviously this level particle. And we're going to do that after 1 second. So that'll give it enough time to just sort of play. If you want it, I noticed in some of the earlier games that they'll do like a quick burst. So it's up to you. It's just about timing and stuff. But for now, if we go into this object here, bloop, you can see it plays for 1 second and it's gone. You know, I keep talking about us copying the things in there. We have a little bit of time on this tutorial. So let me go ahead and I'll try to keep it under 10 and we're at 6 minutes. So let's go ahead and do that. So here is my particle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a script canvas component. And in this, I'm going to save this one as play and destroy particle. I'm going to save that just so you can see how easy it is to copy some of this stuff over. And I'm going to just highlight this, hit Control X. So now it's out of here. So if I save this, I'm going to copy and paste it inside of here. And then what I can do here is we can just sort of group this. And I'll just do a general grouping for this. And turns on visibility of particle and destroys it. All right, so now when I save this, I actually don't even need this level particle here because see how it switches to self? So what it's doing is it's saying, well, the self is the actual particle this is attached to, but we do need the reference to the level trigger because that's not the self. So now when we run this, we should still see that particle spawn. Yep, there you go. But it's running from its own script on our script canvas.